Yeah, hi, I'm Larry Foster. I am
What if they're
a 48-year resident in DeKalb County. I have spent the last almost 4 decades working to try and keep PDK Airport, which didn't have a 6,000-foot runway when I moved in, from bringing in much larger, more damaging and noisier jets and other things. I'm the communications director of PDK Watch, Inc. I've been that director for about 20 years, I guess, since that position was set up. I also maintain the list for emails for people. We used to have 1,000, now we're down to about 500 that are active. That has allowed us over the last 4 years to delay approval of the master plan, because every time they brought it up, we would get several hundred emails sent to them, and they are not, the Board of Commissioners are not, they notice that type of thing, and it's also annoying to them to have that many emails coming in. But and so that's what we've been doing, is trying to get the word out to people who care, and then get them to spread the word to other people who care about what's going on. We have good connections with a number of the civic groups that have their own lists and send out our materials as well. So,
do you recall how long the runway was when you moved into?
Yes, it was 5,000 feet.
And
they added, they were proposing, originally they were honest about it, they were proposing to make another 1,000 feet so they could bring in larger jets. The community went berserk about that, and so they said, oh no, this is just a safety measure. This is going to be a displaced threshold in case aircraft taking off have trouble and have to land, come back down, so they don't get crashing into the shopping center over there across the way.
So right now, with 6,000 feet, there's a maximum size aircraft that can actually land or take off.
It's also the case that even certain larger aircraft can use the airport if they have less than a full tank of gas
for takeoff.
Yeah. And they recently have completely revamped the runway so that there's no longer a difference between the 1,000-foot addition. The 1,000-foot addition was built to a lesser weight-bearing capacity than the original runway. And so technically the runway is no stronger than the 5,000-foot original.
Okay.
But now they have all the runway is one level amount, the same amount, the 5,000 foot extended to the 6,000 foot.
So if you wanted to sum up exactly what the community wants the rest of our reading public to know, what exactly would you say that is?
Well, we're in northeast DeKalb County, and there are all sorts of diverse groups. People have the notion that it's lily white, but I have an African American down the street. I have several recent immigrants living on my short street.
That's very hypothetical.
We don't want our lives and the lives of our children disrupted by the noise levels, which are significant in some areas and not in others. I personally am not as impacted by noise, but there are people just a few blocks from me who are slammed by it. And so it can vary depending on the circumstances. So it's not just the noise. The larger problem is the pollution, and this is a hidden problem that is just not adequately in the public eye, because it's not something that people can easily see or smell normally. are here. So
No, they came to the
actually, it's a much bigger problem than the noise in terms of health, because, for example, PDK Airport is the largest point source in Georgia for toxic lead. The reason for that is, after all of cars have been forced to give up leaded gasoline, planes the piston engine planes still use leaded gasoline, and there are quite a number of the piston engine planes that operate at PDK Airport. Lead is now considered to be, any amount is considered to be dangerous, but it's especially dangerous for young kids because it can destroy their brains. And along Buford Highway, right immediately adjacent to the airport, are large numbers of very poor immigrant Black and Hispanic families who have lots of kids and who are impacted by the pollution from PDK Airport, even if they don't know that that's happening. They probably are much more aware of the noise that bothers them than they are about the pollution.
Okay.
But so we've been operating with various different names for more than 40 years. Different groups, some of the same people, switch out of one group and join another one and keep it going. We're getting short now because so many of the old regulars who were with us 30 years ago have moved away, died, or otherwise become incapacitated. So I'm one of the last standing ones. I'm 78 years old, and I don't know how much longer I can maintain this myself. But I feel very committed to it. I first got aware of the problem of these large jets going overhead when I had a Fulbright fellowship for a year in Sydney, Australia, and I lived under the direct flight path of the Sydney International Airport. Every time a big plane went over, the conversation stopped. You stopped watching the TV, then picked up right after. It's like, I said to myself, I don't ever want to have to deal with this again. So when we were looking for our first and only house in northeast DeKalb County, with a good school district and a good high school and so forth, I asked people, are you bothered by the noise? And they said, oh no, they're just little, sort of quaint prop planes that occasionally fly overhead and so forth.
So when you moved in, you didn't consider the fact that they may want to eventually get a little bit larger plane coming into?
I didn't have time at that point. My wife was pregnant, and we were looking for a place and so forth. And what happened, 2 months after we arrived, I went to a group that was protesting the proposed expansion of the runway by 1,000 feet. And I've been at it ever since then as an unpaid volunteer, sort of, I call it my unpaid second job.
Okay.
I've been much more involved in it the last 4 years because I had the time, and because things were heating up with the master plan and with and now with Sky Harbor. The Sky Harbor is basically implementing the worst features of the master plan that we most opposed, which is namely bringing in, making hangars for much larger jets, and then, as Jamie was pointing out, the Sky Harbor jets, about half of them are going to be doing charter flights, which is just shy of being regularly scheduled flights. You just pay a lot more, but you don't have to go through security checks. And
Okay, we appreciate your comments. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.